here right now. Hi, Yassi. Pleased to meet you.
Hi Shane, nice to meet you too.
So you're in Germany at the moment, is that correct?
Yes, and it's nearly 10 a.m. So I see you're on the dark side. I'm on the bright side currently.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully you can see me all right. It's about nearly 6 p.m. on in the future, so it's on a Wednesday night here. So we're ahead.
Yeah, much ahead. It's also so funny when we see the New Year's Eve celebrations.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
there's
true.
Australia.
Have you
Time
ever
zone.
have you ever been to Australia for any reason, like for touring or for a holiday or something?
Never. I never got the chance. It's a very long flight, sometimes also really expensive, and I never got the opportunity up until now, sadly.
Well, it's going to happen. What can people expect from this music that's coming out now? In particular, the song "Year of the Dragon" really has struck a nerve, I think, with me and everyone I speak to that's heard it.
Thank you. Yeah, I also just had an interview with another friend 2 days ago. He was also like, that's his favorite track, Year of the Dragon. Yeah, what are people going to expect from our second one? It's still all for metal. So if you've listened to Legends and really dig the style, you won't be disappointed. We have been just forging these songs much more with different kind of directions, with Valkyries in the Sky, Gods of Metal, Path of the Brave. So you get a like colorful mixture of everything you might have liked from the first record. But of course, we are branching out with exploring a full new fantasy world with the Far Eastern culture. So we have at least 3 tracks on the album that are highly influenced by the music and the way we want to pay tribute to this elegant culture. So we got Year of the Dragon, celebrating also the Year of the Dragon 2024, which
Yeah.
also was one of the main reasons to conquer that fantasy world first before moving to other type of worlds. I mean, there are still pirates, there are still Romans, Greek people, Egypt, whatever, but
Oh
it
yeah.
was the full opportunity to see, well, the dragon is the one of the symbols in fantasy, and there are so many different approaches how a dragon looks like and what a dragon is and whatever. And so it was just a perfect match to explore that culture with this album. So we get, yeah, a little bit of merge of the power metal, heavy metal type of music we deliver as a base with some more influences on the lyrics and yeah, the choice of additional instruments on the tracks.
What sort of influences did you have? Did you throw in all your ideas as well? Was there any tracks that were mostly you, or did you write anything?
For this album, it was mainly, again, the studio project with the collaboration of Tony, Antonio, and Tetzel, since we just exist as a band since last year, where
Yeah.
also the production was in full motion, and most of us just joined later on after some songs have been written. And so I will have the chance to contribute to future tracks, but I didn't have an influence on the tracks you hear on this album. All I can
Okay.
do is having my vibe transmit on the stage for the songs, so to speak.
Well, your vibe transmits just by talking to you. So on stage, it's electrified. So you got no problem with that.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a beautiful compliment. I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. You back it up with your talent as well. I think that it's being a new band. Is there a challenge? Because it's like a ride of a lifetime. You're only just starting out. You're getting all these people tuning in, loving what you're doing, but you're also still evolving, even though you're only new.
You mean that I talk about how it feels?
Yeah.
Okay.
How does it feel in
Um,
the challenge?
Basically, all of us have a lot of experience already in the live music business.
Yeah.
So I've been around since 2011, like not in the live scene, but at least playing guitar and putting myself out on YouTube. Tetzel has his band Asblut since forever and is
Yeah.
putting a lot of work in it. Antonio is a professional singer, live and flow are also very, very, very versatile and talented musicians, full-time musicians and artists. Ursula also has been playing in multiple bands. So this thing is more like a gathering of experienced people that do share the love of heavy music, traditional heavy metal music. But of course, it's something different that you got to play your first concert not in front of 30 people, or even then 30 people in a club, but it was Metal Fest Pilsen and then Rock Arts with thousands of people. So it was something magical, so to speak, I think, for every one of us, since this was a huge, beautiful experience for us to see how this type of music can unite people like it united us as musicians. Since it was starting as a studio project with Antonio and Tetzel, and us
Yeah.
musicians were just added to be like fulfilling the band. And it was like a network exchange, who could fit in, who could bring the right vibe so that the band is actually profiting from each other. So this is something very beautiful to see that it works. And I feel like the magic on stage is also transmitted. So the first concerts have been like, will they like us? Are they going to like it? Will they throw vegetables at us? You never know. And also when I now watch the first performance we had on Metal Fest Pilsen, now we're on a different kind of level already.
Yeah.
I think we are still working on finding our identity because we're just there for a year. We have now all these impressions, we
Mm.
have now all these ideas, and we're now currently forging like a common kind of vision how and in what way we want to approach further. So it's very exciting. And also, sometimes I feel you can be not scared, but have a lot of respect for it, you know? I
Right.
always feel I have a lot of respect for it, that all the concerts that we play and all the positive feedback we get, it's something I at least don't take for granted, because it's something very special when this happens.
Oh, for sure. And you're saying getting scared, but what's it
Not
like
scared.
stepping out on stage? How do you like maintain your, I don't know, just your concentration, or do you just go with the flow and see what happens?
Well, I told you, not scared, but it's an emotion like being
Yeah.
scared, but not being scared in terms of that you are limiting yourself, like having a sort of respect.
Mm.
Well, I was nervous all the time because also I was never playing in a huge production before. I have my
Right.
YouTube channel. I know how to produce tracks, but the live environment is something new to me in that dimension. So I am so happy that Andy and Carlo, our technicians, were helping me out setting up my pedal board so that
Yeah.
at least there I have a lot less stress. Also, they are taking care of the in-ear monitors. That's something I'm not used to. Normally, if you're a band, you do this also on yourself. So we have a lot of backup in the
Mm.
background with these guys, and we would have died if it weren't for them already on stage. I can tell you that. So to have that kind of sorrow crossed out in your head already, that your equipment works, it's something that reduces stress by 100%. So what I do then is, well, I didn't know until it happened how I would react to huge masses of people, because how could you know if you don't experience it?
Yeah,
So,
true.
as I know that back in the day, I was very shy and introverted, I thought to focus on people that I know, so the photo pit. And there was Nola, for example, and other photographers that we knew.
Yeah.
So I took a look at them, and there is like a distance from the photo pit till the masses. And so when I played the first two songs and was just focusing on these people, then I was like lifting my sight and saw this ocean of people. And then I was like, oh my freaking God. And
Yeah.
this was so amazing how they were cheering and celebrating everything, really, really enjoying the moment. And then you are ready to get that energy in you and just deliver and celebrate together. And this is how I approached it. And ever since that moment that broke the ice and the shield, it's just fun. It's just pure fun. It's just pure energy. It's just pure, yeah, that's like you want to do that forever. That's the thing.
Mm.
Play, celebrate with the people. And then now I'm just nervous if I didn't have the time to check my instrument, or a string broke or something like that.
Yeah. Does that happen often? Do you get many strings that break or any problems on stage, or you just, you know, it doesn't happen as much then?
I have to be just honest. Here at home, it doesn't happen in hours and days and months. I had even a guitar, a 7 string, where my strings were attached for 5 years without
Yeah,
exchanging. Played on that. It was just greasy and disgusting, but they never broke. On tour, it's something different because the guitars and instruments are exposed to different temperatures and
yeah.
moistures all the
Mm.
time. So if I'm not careful, latest after the 6th show, a string breaks. And that happened, I think, 3 times.
Oh,
And of course, the first time I couldn't know when it breaks, but I had an impression maybe 14 days, which is too much. And I knew, okay, a week, but this was also too much.
yep.
And then it was like 5 days, and I have to exchange my strings every 5 days so
Okay.
that it doesn't break. And the thing is, if you're on stage and want to deliver, I also noticed that I'm having a lot of pressure on my picking hand because I'm a rhythm player naturally. I really like my rhythm to
Yep.
be punchy, to be like pulling yourself and everything. And so I have to really take care of my low E because that's the thing that breaks, or the high E. Anything in between, not so much.
How many guitars do you own in your collection?
A couple. The thing is, sometimes you see guitars that I don't own, but I borrow and they have to go
Right.
back. But guitars I own with the lovely support of Ibanez Germany, because they really, really want me to be able to play anything I want. And I'm very much grateful to have them as a team, so to speak.
So good.
20, about 20 guitars.
Oh, just 20. That's not too many.
I think it is. You also have to maintain and show love to them currently. Other than that, they will just break because they are collecting rust and such. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
about to redo my room. Like you see, there are shoes. They aren't there anymore because yeah, I'm moving things right now. So these are not just guitars. There are some. So
That's cool.
um, my main stage guitars aren't here, but here I always have a guitar in reach. So this one is
Oh,
also very beautiful.
that's so beautiful. I mean, they all probably have their own personality. And do you call them by name? Do you have names for any of them or your favorites?
Yes, I do have some names for the guitars, especially my first ones. Now that I have so many, I run out of ideas. But my first guitar was called Jason, the second
Jason.
Freddie.
Oh, cool. Yes.
Then we had um Chloe, that was the black guitar, my Les Paul from LTD. Then Jody from Jody Van Zefalen is my sapphire blue PRS. So I'm always
Oh,
doing
yes.
work jokes on those. Yeah, so yeah,
That's cool.
depending on my mood.
I love Jason. I love Chloe. I think Chloe's a good one. So different. It's sapphire blue as well. Good color.
Yeah, Chloe was the black Les
Oh,
Paul. Sapphire blue is Jody Van Zefalen.
oh. Wow, that you could write a story about each one, I suppose, where you take them,
Yeah.
where you play them. What about you, your career? Like when you first started, you were a little girl. Were you always wanting to play musical instruments? Were you always into music, or was there something else that you thought you might have done, like acting or sport or something, or was it always music?
That's an interesting question. If I'm being honest, I always loved music. The first albums I listened to were the Beatles. I had them on cassette, and
Yep.
also I was a huge fan of Sesame Street when I was like 2 years old. And I always listened to music as my father was a huge enthusiast, and also with 6, I think I got a small plastic guitar, but it didn't work, so it was frustrating. And
Yep.
my sister played guitar, but not for long, 2 weeks. My mother used to play guitar a bit, but I wasn't
Wow.
allowed to touch any of these guitars because these were their guitars. And since my sister failed at keeping patience, they also labeled me, well, kids really lack the enthusiasm, so we won't get a guitar for you, but here's an electric organ, you can play on that. And so I played on that, but I was incredibly boring. And so I bugged my
Boring.
parents. Yes, I just didn't connect to an electric organ. I don't know. It's, of course I could play things, but it wasn't challenging to me. And it's
Yeah.
also like if you're sitting down and just being like, I don't know. It was just not matching with what I had in mind, what I wanted to play. And
Yep.
so many, many, many years later, it was 2011, I finally got my guitar. And yeah, I didn't give up, so I guess that worked. Yeah, since I was a girl, and I was living in a town that was rather conservative, very Catholic. Girls who have been stigmatized. So, for example, when I was 10, I did skateboarding. I was also at the
Yep.
local skate park, but the guys were always like, hey, be careful, little girl, please step out of the way. And it was the same with bands. I was in a band, but not
Yeah.
for too long because then when we started studying at universities, it drifted apart. And then I had a huge, huge, huge problem finding a new band because they didn't want to have a girl in the band because they are not as good and they cause trouble because then people fall in love with them and then the band tears apart. They're just all about drama, blah, blah, blah. And so you,
Unbelievable. That's not
yeah, you
fair.
get stigmatized. You get really stigmatized. And I'm very happy that the world is now more open. But
Yeah.
like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, it was different. And so I started my YouTube channel, JJ's One Girl Band, to
Yep.
explicitly say, well, I don't care if you don't want me, then I will be my own band and I play just music that I like. And so it just went the way it is. I got now one of the biggest metal channels in Germany. And I do live streams, I do interviews with fellow musicians, I do guitar covers, I do originals, I do comedic skits where I uh, ironically picture some stupid things people do in the scene towards girls. And so, yeah, it's just like I just kept doing it while being math and physics student to become a teacher. And
Yep.
I was a teacher for 2 years, but then I was like, well, yes, that's a job I can do because I think I'm creative and I can teach people stuff, but it's not something I love like I really
Mm,
love. And so
mm,
if you have the opportunity to do or to fulfill your dream or just the slightest hope, I think you should go for it. And
mm.
so I went self-employed in 2022. It was very
So good.
weird. Yeah, thank you. It was just very weird since it's like a life clash with everything you knew was just not there anymore because you have to be adapting to a completely different lifestyle with
Right.
different responsibilities, different accountabilities. So you have to step out of that victim mentality that everything is stupid and also stepping away from toxic environments because something I
Mm,
have experienced in my career. Even if you are colleagues, there's competition, there's toxicity, there is bad mouthing, and you have to really be aware of yourself in every single step because if you betray yourself your business won't run and you have to
yeah.
be straight out and honest and this is something I think um, was very valuable to learn so that you can survive
Oh,
as a musician.
yeah. Well, you can be vulnerable, but you're making your own decisions by the sound of it. You're creating your own world, what you want to do. And look at the success that you've had already. It's only just the beginning, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like it's just such a beautiful journey already and like I said I don't take it for granted because it's the
Yeah.
people who choose to like you with what you throw in and offer and it's very very amazing to see that they do like what you do and this
Do
is
you,
beautiful.
do you, do you get time to, I don't know what your relationship status is, but do you get time to have some time away from metal and do you date or do you go, what do you do outside of music? Anything exciting or different?
I'm in an 11-year relationship with my boyfriend so we are living together here
Oh, that's
since
great. Oh, that's excellent. Is he also a musician?
he has a PhD in maths, so he's a software consultant and
Oh,
working right down there as we speak.
Well, give my regards to him. I think it's great that you can rely on someone like that, but also do your own thing. I mean, is there something other than metal that you like? Other types of music? I mean, there's a lot of orchestra and big sounds in this new album and the new songs, but do you like pop music? Do you like country? Is there any other style of music that you admire?
I do, as long as I like the artist or the song. I was just talking about that not so long ago. I'm just striving through Spotify. For example, I'm also a huge fan of Django Reinhardt, so swing,
Okay.
gypsy. I really like that guy. Also, I got back into some like electronic music with Fatboy Slim, for
Yeah.
example. G D'Agostino. I mean, the riddle is a masterpiece of a song. And also, if you take a look at the lyrics, they make you think. It's not like that typical sorry gang rape rap you are listening to at radio. This is something I can't touch. I think this is not artistic freedom. It's just an opportunity to celebrate violence, and this is stupid. And then I really like rock music. For example, if you listen to The Heavy or
Yep.
Cage the Elephant,
Yep.
they are having been used for the intro tracks of Borderlands, which is also a franchise I really love. I mean, I also got inspired by Lilith for my hair. So
Oh, good. Yeah, good music.
I'm a huge fan of these guys.
Mm.
Also, yes, if there's pop music I like, it's Avril Lavigne. I'm a huge fan of her, and also she has been a huge influence on me. Maybe that is viewable in my hairstyle somehow, or the way I sometimes
Yep.
do my eye makeup. I don't
Yep.
know. I also like Sum 41. Without them, I won't play guitar, if I'm being honest, because I was watching a live DVD by them and I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. Nothing else. Give me a guitar. I just want to play. Yeah, so it really depends. I also like listening to Scooter, which is like a techno band from Germany. I do like also sometimes even pop music from Beyonce and Nelly Furtado. It really depends on the song, depends on
Yeah.
the mood. Also got into Gothic again with
Yeah.
Cemetery Skyline, which is like also like a crossover band from Dark Tranquillity,
Mm.
Insomnium, Demo Borgia and Amorphis. So yeah, but this is metal again. I mean, we don't have to talk about that, but yeah, I
That's
mean,
all
as
right.
long as you enjoy the song, also Billy Talent, great band. Ian Tsah is one of the most underrated guitar players there is. This guy is crazy. So yeah, and a lot of different things. As long as
Yeah.
I
I
like
mean, I love that you said some 41 or you wouldn't have been playing without them. That's huge. I mean, they're a good band, but to have that influence on you, they mean a lot, obviously.
they do.
Mm.
They do. They were the game changer. So when
Okay.
they had announced their split, I was very sad that day. And yeah.
Well, I can see Avril Lavigne in you just by looking at you, and she was a skater. Like she likes skating as well. There you go. She did a lot of skating. Uh, okay, what about? I love movie soundtracks and that kind of style of. Would you consider maybe contributing to a movie or writing like a rock musical play, a theater play or something? Is that something that you'd like to do in the future? Because you've done a little bit of acting as well.
I'm not a professional actor, but I do have my facial expressions. That's something my photographers always tell me, and I think I'm able to switch into roles. Um, I don't know if the future will bring it because I'm more the melodic death metal type of person.
Yeah.
I do love music soundtracks. I'm a huge fan of Hans Zimmer, for example.
Oh
If you take
yeah, he's amazing.
also Lion King soundtrack, Interstellar, Sherlock Holmes, Inception.
Yeah.
These are amazing, amazing soundtracks. And also the composer who did the Back to the Future soundtrack and Harry Potter and Star
Alan
Wars, whatever.
Silvestri. Alan Silvestri.
Thank you. It's like something I also miss in the recent releases. I was just talking about people about it. If we also take a look at Indiana Jones, for example, these
Yeah.
kind of movies they did tell something which each single scene. You had the acting, you had the scenery, and you had the music, and this transmitted a vibe. And now I feel movies are getting a little bit dull because nothing is working together smoothly anymore.
Mm,
Since you put pressure on the end product and it doesn't make you feel anything.
mm,
So I'm not in the depth right now to compose soundtracks, but it's something I would be really open to. And if
yeah,
I'm exposed to the working environment and how it does work, I think it would be enjoyable.
yeah. What's the music scene like in Germany? Is it thriving? Do you have like a good industry, or is it hard to get live gigs? Is it? It's a little bit different in Sydney because a lot of, like in Australia, a lot of the live venues don't exist anymore. But live music is kind of coming back in a big way in recent years. What about in Germany? How's the music scene?
Yes, I think it depends. Like I said, on the radio, we don't have a lot of rock music, but
Mm,
I also have the impression it's getting back, that people
mm,
are buying tickets again and celebrate it, and that there's a different approach again. We have these huge metal festivals like
yeah,
Wacken,
the
Summer,
festivals are huge, of course.
they are huge. But as I've been a teacher, I can tell you that the kids nowadays, they are not so much into that type of music, and barely a few of them are playing any instrument.
Right.
So when I was in school, we had our orchestras, not only one, not only two, but three or four, depending what
Yep.
instrument you play. So I think the connection to it is kind of a little bit lost in the newer generation, and they are much more into that singer-songwriter, electronic type of music. And
Mm,
sometimes that's hard to get on stage because if you're a single performer, you have to have different values that you present to your audience. If it's
mm.
not just you on stage and you want to deliver something, you maybe have LED screens or dancers or whatever to contribute
True.
to your art. So that I've seen is different, but I feel like we have a very vivid metal scene, even though it's decreasing a bit, but also increasing with modern bands like Lorna Shore, Band of Sacrifice, and all these modern metalcore bands.
Yeah. Antonio and I had a conversation a week or two ago, and you were filming the video clip for Year of the Dragon. And he took me, got his phone, and he walked around and showed me everyone, and everyone was waving at me. I didn't know who was who. How was that experience filming the video clip? I'm assuming it's all done now.
It's all done. We spent a full week on it. It was
Yep.
adventurous because there were different kind of organizatorial logistics things you need to take care of. And sometimes if things don't work out, it gets stressful. But in the end, it's all about the focus on solutions. And so if we put everything aside that was troublesome, it was a very, very, very amazing experience. Like, for example, when you're filming music videos, you also get to know your own country on a different side. So, for example, I wouldn't have expected to have like that Chinese tea house in the middle of Mannheim, like 30 minutes from my place. And as far as I did research, it's also being said the most accurate and nicest place of interpretation of Asian culture. And we have that around the corner. And I didn't know of that. And just because of that video shooting, we got the opportunity to see it, and it was a lovely place. I mean, just hanging around there, at least for me, it gave the peace just by looking at it. And so, of course, this you have the stress with the video shooting, but just being at that place was very magical. And it was nice to see how you use different angles, different
Yeah.
spaces, and it was like, well, are we even in Germany? So you sometimes are even living in your own type of world for a couple of days if you're diving into in-depth video shooting. And this is something very nice and beautiful.
Well, I can't wait to see it. That's for sure. Your style, before we wrap it up, do you pick your own costumes and clothes? Like, or do you have a stylist? You always look so energetic and just you have something about your look. Is that all your choice, or do you get some help with your fashion?
Thank you. I mean, is this directed to the band or just to me?
Just to you, because I mean, everyone has their own style, but what about you?
Yeah, funnily enough, I have my private collection of metal passion. So
Nice,
when we met up
nice.
for the very first video shooting, I was just gathering my favorite pieces and was then sticking together with Alea from Saltatio Mortis. And since he has very high aesthetics and he's a very great guy, he's very
Yep,
sensitive to artistic stuff. So I trusted him that we would find something that would suit together, and were just choosing an outfit merged together of two sets I have. So I had this sparkling pants and a more down-to-earth leather top, fake leather top, and then I was then getting together with Isis, who was then still working with AFM, and now is
yeah,
also together with us now at RPM when we switched the label.
yeah.
And she was asking me if I was about to add the chainmail armor, what do I want to have? So it was said, yes, this is the color scheme, but do your thing. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not even wearing a costume because I have that stuff here. I mean, of course, it's a costume. I won't walk around like that in the
Yeah,
city,
of
but
course.
I don't feel uncomfortable wearing it. And that's the thing. I don't feel uncomfortable because it's still me, because I chose to be that character before this band even existed. And
Mm.
so Isis and me got together with getting that chain kind of shoulder pauldron thing.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is also the thing that is less disturbing when
yeah,
playing guitar. Yeah, now I've upgraded my costume. I have different pants, a different top, but still the same kind of style. So you're very open to it. For the video shooting of the Year of the Dragon, Antonio did the costume design because he has a vision, and since he is the nerdiest of nerds concerning that type of culture, he was then putting into a lot of effort and research how to get the costumes together in colors, like paying tribute to the culture, but still like we don't imitate you in a cheap way because
no,
we are not in a position to do that, but we want to interpret that in a fantasy kind of world so that it's a tribute more in a fantastic way, that we
yeah,
just emerge or merge these two worlds together and
yeah,
see the colorful outcome of it. So this
yeah.
was his, and yeah, I was surprised what I got. I really liked it. I have the costume here. I might do a guitar playthrough with it because
Okay.
yeah, the vibe is nice. It's great. So yeah, amazing.
Yeah, you should. And that will advertise the costume and your music as well as the upcoming videos. So that's a good idea. Put it on. Yeah.
I will.
All right. Well, but thank you very much for your time. You know what? I'm guessing that you like AC/DC. They're one of our best heavy bands that have ever come out of Australia. Do you like AC/DC?
Yes, I also have covered at least one song of them, TNT. I really like that one. I really appreciate that band because even if
Yeah.
it sounds easy, it's not easy because most guitarists,
No.
play it, it's so beginner style, but have that laid back style, playing with feeling and playing with all the syncopes that Angus is doing. Do
Yeah.
it. Make it sound right because it's just Angus who can play like this because it's Angus and no one else. And Malcolm, of course. Malcolm, rest in peace. He's one of the best rhythm players there is. If you're holding that freaking rhythm for the full time in Thunderstruck, come on. This is
It's
crazy.
it's huge. I know, right? Rest in peace. But the legacy of AC/DC is huge all around the world. But in Australia, yeah, they're very iconic. They're up there amongst some high grade bands. That's for sure. I love them. Well, thank you so much. Can you surf? I like to going to the beach. The beach is about that far that way. Have you ever been able to surf? You're a skater, so you'd probably able to pick up surfing easily.
Yes, I really want to surf one day, but the beaches I've been to never were so inviting for surfing. So if we are hitting Australia, I think that's a great opportunity to test it out finally with a trainer. That would be amazing.
Well, if we have the cross paths and it's summer, we'll have to avoid sharks, but I'm happy to take you out for a surfing lesson.
Fast as a shark, he got out of the dark. You know that one from
Yeah,
Accept?
I do know that one. Yeah, exactly. I love the way you're thinking. You just bring up random stuff. That's good.